Who doesn't like a cute present? I mean, look at that bow. It's so pretty. Okay, so I am going to use my normal round brush that I always use. I'm just giving it a good swirl. I'm going to make a blue present. I'm getting a little brush of blue and paints gray. And I'm going to start painting the present. I'm using a lot of water so I can get this kind of nice paint effect. And I would drop in some color. I would drop in some water to get it all flowy. I'm going to come with my paint gray, especially here at the bottom. And I just want to make an outline and see how it will go in all of those. So it will flow kind of in that. To the other side, more or less the same. Make sure you paint all the way to your pencil lines. Get some paint gray. Add water to your brush, add water to here, and then let the water kind of do the magic. I'm also going to come back with a little bit of a darker edge right here. And don't forget on the side. I'm gonna drop in some water to just push it away a little bit. So whenever you feel your color is just so the same, just drop in a little bit of water and you will see it kind of moves. Okay. Then I am going to come back with some blue for the lid. You can also make your lid a different color if you really want to. And I'm going to paint kind of halfway like that. I'm going to do the same here. And the same here. Clean my brush, suck it up. And then I'm going to take only water and I'm going to see if I can pull out that color so it's lighter at the bottom of my lid so I can see the two separate pieces. So I'm just going to gently pull it out and see if I can go from dark to light so I can still see where it's touching. So you may need to clean your brush a few times in between so you don't just transfer the paint. And then make sure you go over everything so the water kind of blends everywhere. So see how I have, you can kind of see the different layers-ish. Okay, so now I want to make a silver bow. So there's no real good way to make silver, and if you have silver, you can definitely use it. But first do this step and then you can add the silver. So I'm going to go into my black and I'm going to add a tiny bit of the paint gray in that black. It is going to be more black than the blue. And then I'm going to start painting the back sides or the insides first. I'm going to paint this. And this one. I am also going to paint the same darkness here where the bow is touching the middle. I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to touch it. And I'm going to pull it out. Touch some water. Be careful not to make your brush too wet. And pull it out. Go a little bit more into your gray. Now, if your blue is really wet still, you don't want to do this step. But if it's dry, you can totally do it. Then I'm going to add more. A little bit here. So a thing that we want to think of is when we paint light like this, is that if you want to erase your pencil lines like right here, you want to make sure that you can still see the ends of the bow. So I'm going to do the other side, and then we're going to do like a little bit of an outline on them just to help it. So you can still see the outside of your bow, like over here where the it's in the background. Never mix enough paint. I also want to come down here. So even though it feels like it's mixing just the same, we will come back and add. Make sure you go uneven. See how I end uneven? So then when you come back with your wet brush, you kind of nicely pull it out and it doesn't make a hard kind of line side to side. I can come back with this color and just maybe drop in a little bit here on the bottom, and it can pull out. Ooh, too much water, and it can pull out. And you can definitely paint a little stripey up and down. Now I want to come back, and in my actual bow, I want to do a little bit lines like this, and I want to do a little outline like that. Clean, suck it up, blend it out. So you don't want to lose the light, but you definitely want to mess it up a little bit so it's not so white. Drop in some color and see how the water can kind of let it work for you. Do the same on this side. So go up, up, up. Go a little bit here. Clean your brush. I like to touch a little bit and mess it up. And follow that curve to make it feel round, and then do not drop that much water. Quickly suck it up. Always take a clean spot on your towel if you suck it up. And then, so light is better, more water is better. I want to do a few little lines like this. Again, think of when you take your pencil line away that you kind of want to see it. Clean your brush. Make sure you get rid of the drop of water. Don't let it drop, and blend it out. Now, I have highlights and I have mediums. Now I have to come back with the dark area so I can make sure that my my bow actually stands out. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, and you want to use a little bit less water. The small brush also holds less water, so it is actually easier to control a little bit, and especially on the edge I want to come and just give a tiny darker line. Even if you go a little bit bigger, clean your brush, suck it up. And I like to point my brush and just kind of push the paint back to that dark line. So it kind of settles here as a little darker. You can also go on your outside edge a little bit, especially here where it's really touching, and then clean your brush, suck it up. Now, sometimes it is easier to do details like that with a small brush and then come with a big brush and just kind of tap, 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 because more water, bigger bristles, goes a little faster. So you can get like a nice, pretty edge. I kind of want to go in here. And then again, use your big brush to kind of just push the paint a little bit. And I want to do a tiny line on that edge where it is making the folds, and I want to just kind of flick a few lines in up there. So I kind of sort of outline, but then I come back and I do tiny fold lines. And again, if you feel your lines was too dark or too much, you can just kind of come with a big brush and soften them a little bit. Make sure you touch here the black, or the blue black, and here. Clean your brush. Have a clean brush. A flat brush can also help you to kind of just soften in that straight line. I also want to make sure that this outside line is pretty dark. So even though I outline it, I use my big brush, I clean and I soften it, and I can push it back to make the skinniest outline ever. Because the paint will not go over if I don't make it wet there. It will just kind of stay there. So I can totally come and make that outline a little skinnier. And then soften, soften, soften. And then switch to your small brush again, or if you feel like your big brush is perfect. Sometimes the size of a brush doesn't matter, it's more the point. And then smoosh it a little in. I want to come back here because it went too dark. So the band that goes down is actually where it will be a little darker. So I'm just going to go like this. And then push it back, blend it out, up and down. I also, like I did on the top of the bow and over here, maybe I need to do a little bit more. Oh my gosh. And then I just stopped, and then it looks weird. So, you know, don't just stop. Okay. on top over here, like I did here, I want to make sure I have a few tiny outlines. So I hold my brush right from the top, so my bristles can be as skinny. And I want to make sure, especially where it goes off the paper, I have this outline. I can come with a small brush, the big brush, the flat brush, and you can kind of just push the paint a little bit towards that line. Now, if you, because we painted the present first, the box first, if it feels like your lines are not straight, take your small brush and then outline your outside ribbon, but go over all of it. So don't stop, and you will see you can kind of straighten out those edges a little bit. It needs to be kind of the same color, so you don't really want to go dark. You kind of want to be the same color because you just want to straighten out some of those lines. If you do it and it turns out your lines are too dark, take the flat brush and kind of push it away a little bit. And then I'm just going to come back with a little darker line on the top. So see how that now really stands out, but maybe that's a little too much. Clean your brush, suck it up. It always dries a little bit lighter in any case, but with your flat brush, just because there's more bristles, that's the only reason I use it, is I can kind of wiggle my brush on top of that dark line and you can soften it even more. Be careful not to go into your bow. And use the flat brush to kind of straighten out some lines. And that is my silver bow.